If you want to follow along, you can download a Clo 3D project file. See the Gumroad link in the video description. If you're interested in Clo in 3D prototyping and want to learn more, I have a course for beginners on Udemy you might be interested in. You will find the link to the course in the video description. So let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're developing the twist top. You see that in the front, when you look at it from the front, there are some diagonal folds here, and on the side seams will be straight. So this has been achieved by creating a twisted cut in a way. So let's begin. First of all, we're going to develop our bodice. These are the bodice fronts that have been just joined at the center front, and same with the center back here. And also this dart has been closed. So the first thing I will do is create this line here, the bust point line. After this, I will need to get rid of these darts. There are no darts on the front, and the book says that you have to use a very flexible knit to achieve this look, because once the fabric twists, it gets shorter and narrower, so you still need to fit into your top. All right, so we're deleting the darts. The first thing we'll do is this 2 centimeter at the waist. So I will straighten it out just like I usually do, and then take it in by 2 centimeters. After this, you see that we have the hip line and the hem. So the waistline has been dropped by 3 centimeters. The hip line is at its normal position, and then we're adding 5 centimeters to compensate for the twist, remember? All right, so I will offset this by 23 centimeters. And you remember that our distance between the waist and the hip is 23 centimeters, according to our avatar. After this, let's drop the waistline. All we have to do is grab these 2 points and go 3. Like this. Waistline has been dropped. The hip line, as you can see, is at the same level as the bust. So we need to bring this point to be exactly under this arm side point. Quite easy. What you have to do is to make sure that you're moving it strictly horizontally. So hold your shift and move it sideways until it lines up. Sometimes you need to let go of shift to see. It doesn't show you that. All right, let's see. Now it does. See this pink line? That means you're strictly under that point. Let go, and now offset this by 5. Offset pattern outline 5 centimeters. Just extend it perpendicular. You see this just straight thing. All right. Here we go. And the front is pretty much finished. So you could probably smooth these lines here, but you could leave that until the very end. You don't really need to do this right now. Next is the back. At the back, we see that the shoulder, first of all, has been dropped by 1 centimeter. Like this. Then we have no darts at all. So we're getting rid of these, like so. The waist, same thing, 2 centimeters. So go back to make it strictly vertical, and then inwards by 2 centimeters. After that, we offset our 23 to get our hip line. And drop the waistline by 3 centimeters. I'll hold my shift. 3. Then we have to make sure that this point is strictly under this one, just like in the front. So let's go and do it. Here we go. Yeah, holding shift. See, here is pink, just blinking there. There you go. There. Excellent. And now offset this by 5. And now it looks like we're done. So what's the next step? let's see here. So the whole principle of this is the whole principle of the twist is that we twist our center front line, as you can see here, by an amount A. Our center front line elongates because it has to meet this line here. So this hem stays put. This line is the same length as this, but our diagonal line here increases in length by this amount, the black sort of dot amount, right? And that, in theory, compensates for the tightening and the shortening of the knit. So let's go to the next page. Here's what we're doing now. We're doing the horizontal twist, so our top will be twisting sideways. You can see here that we need to move our center front line and center back and center front line by 10 centimeters to the right. Okay, so it starts at the bust line, so let's create one here as well, half, because it's a symmetry. And you know what, while you're at this point, because we're going to be developing another top from the same block, I would suggest you save this. Get rid of this. Save this state like this. Save the state and call it twist block, right? And now you can come back to this point. Later on you can duplicate the project and you don't have to rebuild this bodice again. So let's save, always good. After this, we're going to create this diagonal line. So we have 8 equals 10. So first of all, I will get rid of my symmetry, because now we're going into a symmetric top situation. So we'll get rid of this and create our center front, right? This one is 10 centimeters, so we'll place a point 10 centimeters to the right, and after this we'll create a little vertical line going to this hem. Then we connect it, and now we have elongated this line, because obviously if that was just the radius, our line would stop somewhere here, but it's longer by this amount. Next, we need to measure the distances between the old center front or center back to the new one, and then move these points to the right accordingly. So we know that here is 10 centimeters, that's a no-brainer. Next one will be at the new waistline, which is our lowered waistline, right? And the top one looks like a sort of midway here. It doesn't actually say where, but I guess somewhere here will do. So let's just draw a line here, and after this we need to measure. So the distances these move to the right will be exactly equal to this distance, so we need to make sure we know what these distances are. And of course one more has to be here, just to make sure. So one at the there, one at waist, and one at the hip. Let's create another one. Here you go, somewhere here. Alright, so the way we're going to measure these things is to select our internal lines and then just add points to intersection. This will break our lines into 3, and the inner parts is what we need to move the points to the right. Now this one is not quite long enough, so I will extend it pattern outline. And the next thing is that we need points. We need points that will move in that direction. At this point, we only have one at the old new waistline. So I will select this and add point to intersection. Same here. This way, we now have new point here. Same here. And here. Now, we start from the top. Let's see. 3.2. I will lock internal lines so they don't move, and we need to move these points to the right by 3.2. Right click, 3.2. Looking promising. Next one is here, unlock 5.11. Let's do that. You can hold shift to make sure that your movement is strictly horizontal. So 5.11. Next one is this hip one. $7.59 to the right, holding shift, 7.59, and finally this whole block moves to the right by 10 centimeters. I'll just move this out. So I'll select all of this and I'll hold shift and move entire thing by 10 centimeters to the right. And here is our new pattern. You see that it's shifted to the right, right? Same thing happens with the back. Let's save this. Make sure you save regularly. And I will unlock the pattern outlines and create these horizontal lines. Somewhere mid-hip. And here. And vertical. Cool. Now we placing our 10 centimeter point and creating the line. So strictly like a vertical and then here end. Great. So we create the intersection. I mean the points at intersection. So I'll just select all the lines we need, so we don't have to click them separately. And there, and here, and also here. Right click, add point to intersection. And we got points everywhere. Now we check. 247. We'll lock all internal lines. To the right, shift, 247. Next. Here, 5.10. Going to the right, shift, 5.1. This one, 789. All right, 789. Both of them. 789, and finally the last 4 points to the right by 10. Here we go. These are the patterns. So unlock your internal lines, and the only line you will need will be your new center front. So let's just lock pattern outline so we don't delete anything by mistake. And delete all the lines we don't need. Like that. Okay. You can even extend them up the top here to, to get your full center front. Here it is. Don't forget to unlock your pattern outlines. And just let's take a look at the sewing first of all and get rid of all these bits here that we don't need. Check our sewing here. That looks all right, I guess. And make sure that you extend the sewing on the side seams. This is the point where you can go and smooth, smooth all the lines. You go into your smooth tool and you just go like this and go like that and make it all pretty. So this is the time to go pretty like that. Awesome. Let's go back to sewing and make sure that our side seams sewn properly. Great, so this part is over. Let's take this out. Let's go to our model. So I will probably reset it like this. Switch on the points and place our front on the front. As you can see, it's a little bit skewed because the program is not really understanding what it is. Asymmetric thing is weird a little bit. So we'll just have to use our manual sort of layout a little bit. Okay. Well, that looks good. So shoulders have been sewn, side seams sewn, so everything seems to be working fine. Let's switch off the points and simulate. Here we go. Now, here's the part when you go, oh, okay, that looks a bit stiff. So that means that we'll probably need to add our standard cloth fabric, which has properties of a knit. Change the fabric. And then we will take the center front line and actually put it in the center front. So you just take it and you pull it and you tug it until it ends up where it should be. So straight. Now we could take the shoulders, put it where they belong, the hip line, all the folds like that, and here, see, more or less straight, sort of like that. In the book they say that you should put elastic at the bottom edge to make sure that your twist stays and doesn't sort of unroll itself spontaneously. You can do this in cloth, and I tried it, and it's sort of not necessary in this case because it's quite well fitted around the hips, so we will not rotate. Let's switch off the here and there, put some lines in here, and it looks kind of cool. So the only thing you might want to do here is possibly decrease the particle to get a bit more sort of smoother folds and sort of nicer kind of feel. And of course play with the fabric, you know, you can make it white, or you can borrow properties from any sort of fabric in your library, like that perhaps, you know, make it look like cotton or denim or whatever you want. Denim would be cool, I guess. Let's see, denim, raw denim. Let's make denim. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. So yeah, play around with it and see what you get. I'll go back to my muslin. I think it looked much better. And here we are. This is your twisted top. Side seams are straight and the front and back are twisted. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.